Woo child. I'm starting this video at 2:22. This is Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. This is Pluto's retrograde video. There's a lot for us to unpack and a lot for us to uncover. I'm not even sure if I'll be able to address everything in one video. I may have to talk really fast, and you guys already know that I talk fast. I may have to talk faster than I already do. I may have to add some notes. Or I may have to do more than one video because this one there's a lot that we have to discuss. So, we're going to talk about Pluto, the planet of Pluto that they try to dismiss, but that is indeed a real planet. In astrology, we consider Pluto like the planet of African Americans and just diaspora, period, African ancestry and stuff, period, which is why they'll try to say like it's not a planet. Now, think about what they do with African Americans. Don't they tend to steal our culture, all of our customs, all our traditions, and then pretend we don't exist afterwards? It's kind of the same thing what happens with Pluto. They, channel Pluto's energy in Pluto themes such as sex and the mystery and the occult, and then it's like, oh, this is not a real planet. A lot of synchronicities there. And there are actually like a lot of studies and articles and stuff that talk about like the Pluto in connection to Africa and the diaspora. So we're going to talk about Pluto retrograde and what it means. So in shamanic astrology, Pluto represents the underworld, our deepest fears, our psychic abilities. Pluto is where you have like your relationship to money, your shadow, your ego. This is power. This is sex. This is death. Astric 2 arcs where you have like different obsessions, the things that you obsess over. Any past life trauma will be found in your Pluto part of your birth chart, where the ancestors, the generational curses, this is where you find that energy. This is also how you die spiritually and then rebirth yourself to a better being. It's also the unconsciousness that you project onto other people. So, we're going to talk about what it means when Pluto is in Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of government energy. It is the sign of the ruler, the father, the dictator. And when Pluto decides to go backwards in Capricorn, it's a very serious time. So Pluto will be retrograde in Capricorn until October 3rd. During this time, you can expect a lot more government corruption to be exposed, as well as like people who have misused or abused their power, especially like sexually, like people who have been like molested or maybe being exploited, human sex trafficking, organ harvesting. These are all things that are going to come up and be exposed during Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Taboos and like hidden fantasies will be made known. So there may be people who you didn't know that they liked disgusting things such as like child pornography, but that stuff will like come to the light and be made known. It won't be hidden from you. Or there may be someone that you're with who just doesn't have like the best hygiene, and next thing you know, like that information comes to the forefront. You will be rewarded for doing your shadow work. So if you've practiced, healing childhood trauma, if you are practicing healing generational curses, these things will be rewarded. Or if you're not doing that work, you will see the consequences of it. So if there is things that you want to heal from spiritually, and if you feel like there are generational curses that are in the way of you manifesting your best life and being who God called you to be, living in your purpose, and clearing up debts and karmic debts and financial debts and just all of those things, please feel free to book a session with me so that we can dive into that work. When Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn, you will find yourself wanting to dive deeper into esoteric arts, such as like tarot and astrology and other divinations. Some people actually get into African traditional religions and hoodoo and voodoo amongst other things during this time. But you also will find that there will be somebody who is almost like a dictator trying to keep you or persuade you from not exploring these things further, not connecting with the ancestors, not learning different traditions and religions and different customs. Just because you learn about something doesn't mean you have to practice it. But I will say that when you learn things, there's a certain responsibility that comes with it. That's why there's that whole saying like ignorance is bliss, because when you don't know a lot, you're not responsible for a lot. But to whom much is given, much is required. Um, Men may feel as if they're having like a nervous breakdown. If they fail to address their trauma, that is incredibly normal and typical during Pluto retrograde. Men will no longer, and I'm not, when I say men, I don't mean like all men. I mean the men who subscribe to these behaviors, okay? Because some men have their shit together. Some men are clear on their manhood and who they are and what it means for them. I'm not talking about those men. I'm talking about the men who don't. I'm talking about the fuck boys, okay? So, or I'm not gonna even say fuck boy. I don't really subscribe to that term anymore. A fuck boy ain't nothing more than a man who has work that he needs to do and is failing to do it. And if you allow yourself to be, you'll get caught in his crossfire. That's all a fuck boy is. So to have a fuck boy in your life or to keep attracting them, there's a fuck girl in you that you have not healed from yet and that you are using to attract this fuck boy, whether you realize it or not. So for the men who fail to address their traumas, they won't be able to peacefully hide behind like their egos, sex, drugs, alcohol, suppressing the feminine and dictating her and manipulating her. It's not that they won't do those things. They will not be able to do them in peace. There will be a part of them that feels convicted for exhibiting such behaviors. But it's going to be up to them to make the proper changes to dig to the deeper cause of why they are this way. What was their relationship like with their parents? What examples did they see growing up? Were there any examples provided or not? If you have daddy issues where you had a father that was very controlling or tried to dictate how you lived your life and how you expressed yourself and your life purpose and your life calling and what you were going to be when you grow up, those issues and those insecurities may come back up during this season, and it is up to you to show up as an adult, not a child, not your inner child, your adult self, and be like, I am what God is calling me to be. I'm going to do what God called me to do. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to do. This is where I find peace. This is where I find joy. This is what makes my heart sing. And do those things in peace. If you are owed money from the government, whether it be like owed taxes or financial aid that you haven't received, if there's a grant you applied for, a loan you applied for, that can come back full throttle and be rewarded to you when Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn, as well as just like financial institutions where they're weak at. So like we had the cocaine that was imported by Chase Bank. That's happened. That is common. That kind of stuff gets exposed when Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn. We had the Equifax breach. That's common when Pluto is in Capricorn. We start to see like the flaws in all of these systems that we subscribe to and where they are really not that strong. Also, you can see where the masses or the poor people or the minorities or whatever you want to call them, call us, take back our power. When you see what Puerto Rico just did, that couldn't have happened in no other time except for when Pluto was retrograde in Capricorn and you're breaking away from perceived like government systems that you have to subscribe to and that there is no other options. You get presented with different options and seeing where the ancestors have given you that power. When you take those generational curses and you turn it and activate it into a generational gift, you can have the successes that we just saw that Puerto Rico had. You can achieve those kind of victories, but you cannot know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. It sounds very taboo, but the Puerto Ricans looked and they said, all right, in the past we have tried to do things peacefully. We have tried to give them the benefit of a doubt. We tried to keep our head down and that didn't work. So we had to fight a little harder and we had to be resistant and resilient, and they got the success that they were looking for. And that is the first part of this Pluto in Capricorn retrograde video. Next is part 2.